Welcome to my channel, and this is a very short video about what this channel is about. It's a existential depth typology. It looks at existence as something living and that is made of cognition. So that's the main difference between Kataronics and other typologies out there. It's not only a focus that we like the cognitive functions are a cognition in the human brain, but more so in the reality itself. Focus on deepening the definitions of the functions. What could be the deeper precision in typology? I want to contribute to just giving you ideas to people about what typology maybe could be, or maybe actually is about in a way. Actually, my vision for making Kataronics is kind of to save the world, to be honest, because I had like this Kundalini awakening or enlightenment, if you want. I couldn't go back to reality as it was before, and I hope I could get like elements of this through this typology. And it's gonna sound a little bit different than the normal typology, but that's also the point about it. This experience I had where I kind of found myself and my heart opened, and I had like this laser coming up of my head, and I felt the one with the earth and with the city and with myself. I never loved myself and other people as much as I did in that experience, like ever. So it's more, I can't really put it into words how big that experience was, but that's what made me head into this direction of thinking very new on things. Okay, so what else I should say about this experience is that I really can't put it into words. It's actually in scientific measurements, experiences like this is shown to be super conscious, being more than 200 times more conscious that we know as conscious, if that makes sense. My experience was actually such that I felt this intense love feeling in my chest, and I felt as large as the half globe, in a sense. I'm pretty sure now that actually this laser coming up from my head was actually merging me with the electromagnetic field of the earth. So I had a body that suddenly was on the scale of the earth, essentially. Just to give an idea of how large this experience was to me and how it was to experience. So I never actually thought that love had anything to do with my chest and with my heart. That was kind of just only in the messenger, right? When we send hearts to each other. But I never actually considered that there was a real connection between the heart and the phenomena of love. I would never even consider that, to be honest. In that experience, I was basically proved wrong, because this belief I had about the love having nothing to do with my heart was so strong that I didn't even question it. And I should also say I had this bubble around me, which also I didn't know anything about in my experience. In fact, I wasn't spiritual. I didn't even know about the electromagnetic field at that point and how that worked. But, I experienced, literally, I was the electromagnetic field going through me. So I actually discovered that geometric structure by being it, essentially. I didn't actually know it existed. So that's a very interesting part as well. Personality systems, right? So it makes sense then that people who made these systems are kind of into systems and into logic, if that makes sense. Kataronics is more like I try to have more of the feeling aspects within into the system, if that makes sense. Idealism it's kind of real in my system rather than just some kind of fantasy. And this personality system also uses a lot of intuition. Of course, the interpretation of that data will be subjective, but the intuition itself, the package that you get to yourself, can be seen as objective. It's a very heart-centered system. So I always try to design my system in a way that doesn't lead into nocebo. So I want it to always lead into placebo, which means never any artificial negatives, so that everyone can like leave Kataronics with a sense of gaining something out of it rather than maybe limiting them, for example. And it's a suggestive theory, since any individual and group has bias, and that includes me, so that also includes this theory. It's not a perfect theory. It's actually more of a suggestive theory that basically means I present my ideas to the world so you can evaluate those ideas for yourself. I think there's good information here, but I'm not saying that all information is good. Maybe there is some, like, no person or group is perfect, so maybe I have some traumas and stuff like that, which will basically influence this typology in a negative sense. I believe everyone, and like every individual and group are kind of traumatized in a way, or have like their own distortions of reality, if you want. So just keep that in mind. So be skeptical, but keep your mind open for what I'm trying to say. Try to not dismiss it before you've heard what I have to say, and then you can think about it after that. Like channeling from our soul, which basically is ourselves, but it's not the self that we are right here as humans, essentially. And I think when we watch the movies, we may feel like this inspiration, like we feel in spirit, and we feel like this insightful understanding coming out of that movie. Like oftentimes we have to understand something through a story or through some artwork or through some singing. That's what I believe active imagination does in this discovery of my theory. That's shortly about Kataronics, and I hope you like it. So check out my videos. Yeah.